This is part 2 of the Great Bay Temple. In this walkthrough, we're going to be pretty busy. We're going to get the compass almost right away. You can actually see the treasure chest right there already. And we're also going to fight the first mini-boss of the dungeon and go ahead and get the dungeon treasure, even though we're only on part 2 of
Isn't there like 2 or 3 mini-bosses in this dungeon?
2, yeah. We get the giant eyeball guy who's a pain and the big frog.
It's like a flashback to A Link to the Past, right?
Yeah, several eyeball bosses in Link to the Past.
Oh yeah, then that frog also, which will be one of the frogs for the frog choir, whatever.
We'll get into all that
We don't do that in this video, so...
Yeah, don't worry about that one. But yeah, it is pretty cool to just get the compass right here off the bat. And already in this dungeon, we've got the map and the compass, which are going to come in very handy when we're trying to get around this relatively confusing dungeon.
It's always nice getting these things early in the dungeon. It helps us out tremendously.
Plus, I feel like I love having that mini-map in the bottom right corner once you get the compass that shows you where you are, where you came into the room.
Is that what, the red dot?
Yeah.
You don't have that until after you get the compass? I'm asking, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I think that varies by game, honestly.
I couldn't remember because I use that all the time.
Yeah. And honestly, when you have a dungeon like this where you're in and out of a lot of the same rooms because they have so many different entrances and exits, it's very handy to see that and be like, okay, this is a path I need to go down. This is a path I need to go down.
Yeah, it seems like there's really only kind of like 5 or 6 rooms in this whole dungeon.
There's not a lot.
It's just a lot of going different directions through different routes, stuff like that. Which actually that could be like fool's gold, I guess you could say. Like oh, this is going to be simple. 6 rooms. Oh no.
Well, and you know us, we don't like backtracking, that's for sure. But
we never complained about though.
No. But it really isn't a huge dungeon. It's just we go through a lot of the same rooms over and over again as we open up different entrances and exits to them. Like I said, we're changing the water flow when we do get the ice arrows. Spoiler, that's the treasure of the dungeon.
Like we always say, there's no spoiler alert for a game that came out in 2000.
Yeah, exactly.
You had your time to play it by now.
And if you're watching a playthrough, you know spoilers are going to come. So, yeah, it's just, when we talk about the fairies in the first part, it's like they put some of them in the most obscure places.
I just thought 15 was too many.
It is.
I mean, 10. I think 10 would have been the right number. It was just some of these I might not even found if I was looking for them.
Exactly.
That one right there, I would just jumped in that and said, let's go swimming or something like that,
Especially because if you jump in, you can see the water flowing. It's going to suck you right to the other side.
Well, I think in the very beginning, you shot a spider that had a fairy. I mean, spiders or fairies in spiders and jars. I just would never even thought about looking for.
Exactly. 15 was way too many.
Which is why I never got them in the first.
I know, yeah. Without the help of the internet.
No.
We never got them all. But the upgrades, as we mentioned, are so useful.
Oh, yeah, they definitely are.
It seemed like it was a lot easier to get them in Ocarina of Time than here in Majora's Mask.
Well, you have fairies in Ocarina of Time.
No, I mean, it was easier to get the upgrades. Sorry.
Oh, the upgrades.
Because you said to
I was like, yeah, it's easier to get the fairies because you didn't have to get the fairies.
Because there were none. And here we are back in that main room, and now we're actually going to be going through
the bottom part, right?
Yeah, the lower level.
Okay.
Oh,
well, we're going to get there eventually. Oh. Yeah, I guess it's a glitch or something.
Well, I managed to do it several times, but I mean, just swimming with the Zoras is hard.
It definitely is.
It's tough to get lined up.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I think the hardest part is just when it thrusts at the beginning, that's the hardest part.
Yeah. And especially when you're in an area where the water's moving like that and you can't really, you don't have the freedom.
Yeah, you don't have a lot of control, yeah.
Yeah, so you just got to go along with the flow.
There's too much going on too fast to really control it. We had a hard enough time controlling things as it is.
I know, it's like you put me on the solid ground with regular Link, I'm going to screw up somehow.
We can't figure this out. It's too much.
You throw me in the water with moving water.
There was a lot of these enemies in this dungeon, they don't even, I knew yesterday, but they just don't belong in here.
They really don't seem to fit. I agree.
There should be no bomb enemies in a water temple.
I know.
You don't put your wick out all the time.
Yeah, the only thing I can think of is maybe they kind of look like a rat, and it kind of looks like we're in a sewer. I don't know, with all the pipes and everything. But that's a stretch.
I mean, I'll give you that a little bit.
But that's a stretch. So.
I think Woodfall looked more like a sewer, but
yeah,
this guy does have that feel to it. And one thing I did like about this dungeon is the theme. I really did like the theme in this one. And,
I agree.
And not that the water temple theme is bad, but this one, I don't know, it makes it not feel like a water temple in a way, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know how to really explain further on that, but that's just kind of the feeling I get.
Especially like when you think the water temple theme from Ocarina, it sounded like you were in a. I mean,
Yeah,
the theme,
uh-huh.
which it matched the temple perfectly for good and bad, you know. And don't ask me why I threw him off there.
You almost got him. You almost got him.
He was in range. He
Yeah.
was in range. But this is actually a pretty long, tedious mini boss fight. I mean, he is surrounded by just dozens of these eggs or bubbles or whatever you want to call them.
Yeah, as we mentioned earlier, like kind of a flashback to Link to the Past, and I think it was Misery Mire, right?
I believe so.
Where he fought that, like one of the harder dungeons, but the easiest boss ever.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's Swamp Palace.
And honestly, one of the ways to beat this guy is to use that exact same strategy. You hookshot these bubbles to you, but the downside of doing that is you can only do them one at a time.
One time.
I was trying to use my bomb mask here to take out.
Yeah, I had problems using it too the first time I used it.
It took me some getting used to.
Well, you gotta put the shield down to protect yourself. Now, here's what I understand: if you put your shield down and like explode it, you don't get hurt. But the shield is over the blast mask, so the shield's inside the blast mask.
Yeah.
That's right against you. So how you don't injure yourself is beyond me.
I agree.
Zelda logic.
Zelda logic.
How's the blast mask even work in the first place?
It's a bomb on your face.
Yeah.
How does your head just not blow up?
One of the coolest masks ever, though. Yes, me though.
It is pretty cool. Now, honestly, you don't have to kill every single eyeball here in the beginning. Once you have an opening there, you can shoot him with an arrow when his eyes open, but those remaining bubbles or whatever will keep rotating around to kind of protect him again. So, my simple thought was, I'm going to take out as many of these stupid things as I can.
Oh yeah. Well,
to make it easy.
No, like I know, like later on you hit his eye to like get him going across the ground. Is that what you're talking about? Like, can you do that earlier in the process or not?
I think so. Like, because
you hit his eye right here, and I know he drops down. He starts moving.
I think you can do it earlier, but again, it's a matter of getting an open shot when all
that's a good point. That's a good point.
So, I mean, you could probably do
a shot we would have made randomly.
I know. I'd have been aiming for one of the
impossible
bubbles.
shots are the ones we hit.
Yeah, I'd have been aiming for a bubble and actually hit his eye somehow.
It's like every time we think we can't do something, we get on the first try.
I do think I eventually switched to the hook shot just to, because it might be quicker from the standpoint you just grab, kill, grab, kill, grab, kill. Although that works pretty well right there. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the boss. Like, I mean, it's just so hard to dodge those things the way they're bouncing and everything.
Yeah.
Really.
Thankfully, they don't do much damage.
No, they don't.
But man, I've got him right on top of me right now.
I think a quarter of a heart, but man, if you take 3 or 4 of those in a row,
which I just did in the last minute.
Yeah, they get you pretty good, really.
Yeah, but at least there are these pots around the sides to get arrows and hearts, which helps, which definitely helps. And they do a good job of in mini boss and boss fights of giving you something.
Yeah, like hearts.
Yeah,
always put hearts there.
Man, that one bubble was ticking me off.
Well, it's obviously a lot easier to hit 20 of them than it is just one bouncing around. And they don't bounce straight. They bounce left, right, backwards, forwards. They bounce. It's like a football. It's like a football bouncing around out there.
Fumble on.
Yeah.
And this is definitely the moment where I said, screw it, I'm using the hook shot. Although, honestly, with this mini gone, I probably could have gone ahead and got him. But I was being thorough.
Understandable.
Plus, the more you kill, I think it gets him out of the way for when we do.
Now, I had to fight this mini boss maybe in Stone Tower Temple. About 30 seconds in, I went the hook shot. I go, do it one at a time. Because I was taking a beam like you were right here.
God, I love the hook
Not
shot.
taking a beam, but I was just getting target hit by him.
Yeah.
You know what's better than a hook shot? 2 hook shots.
2 hook shots, yes!
The double hook shot / cross shot.
Yeah. Let's go back to City in the Sky.
What's in Skyward Sword, too?
Yes, it is. Your default hook shot is the
I don't like Majora's Mask anymore. You put a double cross shot or a hook shot in Majora's Mask, I'm a bigger fan.
Now, and once again, when all those bubbles were just jumping around on the ground, again, you didn't have to kill them. But, you know, once again, it just makes everything else easier to get him out of the way.
Yeah.
And now you can focus on him without...
Just him.
Yeah. As he bashes his head in repeatedly.
Patience is key in Zelda games.
Yes.
Take a little bit extra time to do something right.
Yeah. I mean, like I mentioned, it's just it can be a difficult fight. I mean, you saw we took quite a beating. Normally, we're a little better than that at not losing hearts. Cause
well, no, if you get a lot of bouncy things that we can just swing at like uncontrollably, I have the same problem. I just go nuts with it.
Yeah, that's what I kind of do.
You know what? If I die, I die, but I have fun with it. You know, at least.
It's like Rocky IV. If he dies, he dies.
Gosh. Okay, that's one way of looking at it.
But killing him, we finally, it's pretty early actually, we get the treasure of the dungeon, which is the ice arrows.
Yeah,
And we're going to use them to access some new areas here in the dungeon that we couldn't get to before.
And that wraps up part 2 of the Great Bay Temple.